There's a quiet shift that happens in a man's body when he's been married for a while. It's not dramatic. It doesn't announce itself with arguments or accusations. It's subtle, almost invisible, like water slowly eroding stone. One day you wake up and realize you're not the man you were when she met you. You're not sharper. You're not hungrier. You're not driven. You're tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. Your ambition feels distant, like something you used to care about in another lifetime. Your focus fragments easily. Your discipline wavers. And somewhere deep in your chest, beneath the routine and the responsibility, you feel it. A slow, steady drain on the very essence of what made you a man. This isn't about her being a bad person. This isn't about blame. This is about a process most married men experience but rarely name. It's about how the woman you love, the woman you committed your life to, can gradually, unconsciously, systematically drain your masculine energy until you're a shell of who you once were. And the cruelest part, you won't even notice it happening. You'll think you're just getting older, more mature, more settled. You'll tell yourself this is what marriage looks like. But deep down, in the parts of yourself you've learned to ignore, you'll know something fundamental has been lost. Let me be real with you. Your wife doesn't drain your energy because she's trying to destroy you. She drains it because the modern structure of marriage, the expectations, the unspoken contracts, the emotional dynamics, they weren't designed for masculine thriving. They were designed for stability, for safety, for the containment of your wildness. And containment, no matter how comfortable, is still a cage. It starts so gradually you barely register the shifts. At first, it's just small adjustments. She mentions she'd feel more comfortable if you didn't go out with the guys as often. It's not controlling, she just misses you. You tell yourself that's sweet, that's love. So you cancel a few nights, then a few more. Before long, Friday nights that used to be yours, that used to recharge you, that used to remind you that you're more than just a provider and a partner, they disappear. And with them, a piece of your masculine energy quietly exits. Then it's the way you spend your time at home, the hobbies that used to light you up, working on the car, the garage gym sessions, the creative projects, the solitary pursuits that fed your soul. They start feeling selfish. Not because she says they are, but because of the energy in the room when you choose them. The subtle sigh. The comment about how you're always busy with your stuff. The way she suddenly needs something right when you've carved out an hour for yourself. You're not forbidden from your passions. You're just made to feel guilty for having them. And guilt is a slow-acting poison that kills desire from the inside. Here's what men don't realize. Masculine energy thrives on autonomy, challenge, and purpose. It needs space to expand, problems to solve, risks to take. It needs the feeling of building something, conquering something, becoming something greater. But marriage, especially modern marriage, often operates on the opposite principle. It operates on merging, on constant togetherness, on emotional availability at all times. It operates on the idea that a good husband is always present, always attuned, always responsive to her emotional climate. And while that sounds beautiful in theory, in practice it means your energy is no longer yours. It's on loan, it's contingent, it's always being pulled toward her emotional needs, her insecurities, her moods, her vision of what the relationship should look like. You start living in reaction mode. She's stressed, so you adjust your day to manage her stress. She's feeling disconnected, so you drop your plans to reconnect. She's upset about something at work, so you become her therapist. She's questioning the relationship, so you become her reassurance machine. None of these things are wrong in isolation. But when they become the default setting, when your entire existence revolves around stabilizing her emotional weather, something inside you starts to shut down. Your energy stops flowing outward into the world and starts flowing inward into the relationship. And a man whose energy only flows inward becomes stagnant. He becomes dull. He becomes the very thing she'll eventually resent him for being. And that's the part nobody prepares men for. The same woman who wants you emotionally available at all times will lose attraction to you when you become too available. The same woman who wants you to prioritize the relationship above everything will grow restless when you have nothing else going on. The same woman who asks you to soften your edges will miss the sharpness that drew her to you in the first place. It's not hypocrisy. It's biology. Women are attracted to masculine energy, the drive, the focus, the self-contained power of a man on a mission. But marriage often demands you trade that energy for domestication. And once you're domesticated, once you're predictable, once you're safe and soft and completely hers, the attraction begins to erode. You'll see it in how she looks at other men. Not overtly, not in a way she'd admit. But you'll notice her eyes linger on the guy at the gym who's clearly obsessed with his body, on the entrepreneur who talks passionately about his business, on the friend who still has that untamed quality, that unpredictability, that refusal to be fully claimed. She doesn't want those men, but she wants what they have, the energy you used to have before you gave it all away trying to be the perfect husband. But there's another reason, a deeper one, why your wife drains your masculine energy. It's not just about what she asks of you, it's about what she doesn't give back. Marriage, at its best, is supposed to be a source of energy, a place where you rest, recharge, and return to the world stronger. But for most men, marriage becomes an energy deficit. You pour in effort, attention, emotional labor, financial provision, problem-solving, protection, leadership, and what you get back is often conditional. Her respect is conditional on your performance. Her affection is conditional on her mood. Her support is conditional on whether you're meeting her unspoken expectations that shift like sand beneath your feet. Smart men eventually notice the imbalance. They notice they're the ones initiating most of the intimacy. They're the ones suggesting date nights, planning trips, trying to keep the spark alive. They're the ones apologizing even when they didn't do anything wrong, just to restore peace. They're the ones carrying the mental load of how do I make this relationship work, while she increasingly operates from a place of is this relationship working for me? That shift from partnership to evaluation is where the drain becomes unbearable. Because here's the truth men are afraid to say out loud. Most modern wives have become emotional consumers, not emotional contributors. They consume your attention, your validation, your energy, your resources, your time. They consume your patience when they're processing their feelings for the third hour in a row. They consume your strength when they need you to fix something they won't take responsibility for. They consume your presence while contributing criticism, dissatisfaction, and an ever-growing list of ways you're falling short. And you tolerate it because you've been taught that a real man gives endlessly, that a real man doesn't keep score, that a real man's love is unconditional. But unconditional love without reciprocity isn't love. It's servitude. The trap isn't that she's a bad person. The trap is that the role of wife in modern culture has become an identity centered around needs rather than contribution. She needs you to be more emotionally available. She needs you to help more with the house. She needs you to understand her love language. She needs you to validate her feelings. She needs you to prioritize her above your work, your friends, your hobbies, your alone time, your sanity. And every need she expresses becomes another demand on your finite energy. Meanwhile, your needs for respect, for admiration, for physical intimacy, for peace, for space to be yourself are framed as selfish, outdated, or emotionally immature. You've seen it. The friend who works 60-hour weeks to provide for his family, and his wife resents him for not being home enough. The colleague who cancelled his gym membership because his wife said it was taking time away from the family. And now he's 40 pounds heavier and ashamed to look in the mirror. The brother who stopped hanging out with his friends because his wife didn't like them. And now he has no one to talk to when things get hard. The neighbour who gave up his dream of starting a business because his wife didn't feel secure with the risk. And now he's trapped in a job that's killing his soul. These aren't isolated incidents. This is the pattern. This is how your wife drains your masculine energy. Not through one big betrayal, but through 1,000 small surrenders you make in the name of keeping her happy. And here's the cruelest part. Even when you give up everything, even when you make yourself smaller and quieter and more convenient, even when you sacrifice your dreams and your identity and your very essence to fit into her vision of what a husband should be, she still won't be satisfied. Because what she actually wants beneath all the demands and complaints and emotional turbulence, is the man you were before you started shrinking. She wants the man who had boundaries, the man who had purpose, the man who had fire. But she spent years training you to extinguish that fire, and now she's angry that you're not burning anymore. What men learn too late is that marriage doesn't kill masculine energy. Submission does. And modern marriage is built on a foundation of male submission disguised as partnership. You're expected to submit your time to her schedule, submit your money to joint accounts she controls, submit your decisions to her approval, submit your friendships to her comfort level, submit your hobbies to her sense of priorities, submit your body to her sexual availability, submit your emotions to her processing needs, submit your future to her fears. And every act of submission, no matter how small, no matter how reasonable it seems in the moment, is a withdrawal from the account of your masculine energy. Psychology shows that when a man enters a relationship that constantly triggers his stress response, his brain shifts into survival mode. And a man in survival mode can't grow, he can't dream, he can't take risks, he can't lead, he can only manage, endure, and survive. That's what the constant emotional demands do. They put you in a state of chronic, low-level stress. You're always walking on eggshells, always monitoring her mood, always bracing for the next emotional storm, always one comment away from a 3-hour argument about something that wouldn't have mattered if you'd just agreed with her in the first place. Your nervous system never fully relaxes. Your body never fully rests. And masculine energy, the kind that builds empires and changes worlds, requires rest. It requires safety. It requires space to breathe. But in most marriages, that space doesn't exist. Your home, the place that should be your sanctuary, becomes another job site. You're managing her emotions. You're managing the household tasks. You're managing the children's needs. You're managing your own exhaustion. You're managing the gap between what you thought marriage would be and what it actually is. You're managing the growing resentment you feel toward the woman you promised to love forever, because you can't admit, even to yourself, that you're drowning. And the tragedy is that she doesn't see it. To her, you look fine. You're still going to work. You're still paying the bills. You're still showing up. She doesn't see the internal collapse because men don't collapse loudly. They don't cry in the bathroom or have emotional breakdowns at dinner. They just go quiet. They just go numb. They just stop dreaming, stop laughing from the gut, stop talking about the future. They become functionaries in their own lives. They become ghosts in their own homes. They become men who've traded their masculine energy for the illusion of peace. That's where you find yourself now. In the man who works overtime but doesn't know why. In the guy at the gym going through the motions without intensity. In the father playing with his kids but feeling like he's watching himself from outside his body. In the husband having sex with his wife but feeling nothing. You're alive but you're not living. You're present but you're not there. And the worst part of you doesn't even want to come back. Part of you has accepted this drained, diminished version of yourself as just how life is now. But here's what this teaches you. Here's what every man eventually learns when he's honest enough to face the truth. Your wife can only drain your masculine energy if you give her access to it. She can only take what you freely hand over. She can only diminish what you've already decided is negotiable. And the moment you realize that, the moment you understand that your energy is yours to protect, yours to direct, yours to guard like the most valuable resource you possess, that's when everything changes. The resurrection begins with a single realization. You are not responsible for her emotional state. Read that again. You are not responsible for her happiness, her fulfillment, her sense of security, her emotional regulation, or her life satisfaction. You can contribute to those things, you can support those things, but you cannot and should not make them your mission. Because the moment you make her emotional well-being your responsibility, you've handed over your power. You've made yourself a servant to her moods. You've tied your peace to her chaos. And that is how the drain becomes permanent. Smart men eventually learn to create boundaries that protect their energy. Not walls that shut her out, but clear lines that preserve what's essential. They reclaim their time. They return to the gym, not because they're trying to escape, But because they know a strong body houses strong energy, they rebuild their friendships, not because they're avoiding their wife, but because masculine energy is recharged in the presence of other men who understand the weight you carry. They return to their hobbies, their projects, their purpose-driven pursuits, not because they're selfish, but because they've finally understood that a man with nothing of his own brings nothing of value to the relationship. This doesn't mean you abandon your wife. It means you stop abandoning yourself. It means you stop asking permission to be a man. It means you stop apologizing for having needs, for wanting space, for prioritizing your health and your purpose and your sanity. It means you stop letting her dissatisfaction dictate your decisions. Because here's what happens when you reclaim your masculine energy. She either rises to meet you, or she doesn't. She either respects the boundaries you set, or she resents them. She either appreciates the man you're becoming, or she mourns the servant she lost. Either outcome reveals the truth, and the truth, no matter how painful, is always better than the slow death of pretending. The smart man learns to operate from his center, not from her emotional periphery. He makes decisions based on what's right, not what will keep the peace. He speaks his truth even when it creates discomfort. He says no without explanation. He chooses his purpose over her approval. He stops negotiating his identity for temporary affection. And when he does this, when he finally stands firm in who he is and what he will not compromise, something shifts. His energy stops leaking, his presence becomes solid again, his focus sharpens, his drive returns. And the woman who spent years draining him suddenly finds herself in the presence of a man she barely recognizes, a man who's no longer available for manipulation, no longer responsive to guilt, no longer willing to shrink. Some women find this attractive. They remember why they married you. They soften. They start contributing instead of consuming. They start respecting instead of demanding. But some women don't. Some women fight harder for control. Some women escalate the emotional warfare. Some women punish you for having boundaries. And that tells you everything you need to know. A woman who can't handle your strength, who can't respect your boundaries, who can't love you unless you're compromised. That's not a partner. And that's a parasite. And parasites don't change. They just find a new host. What men learn too late but never forget is this. Your wife draining your masculine energy isn't the end of your power. It's the beginning of your awareness. It forces you to ask the questions you've been avoiding. Is this relationship feeding me or depleting me? Is this woman my partner or my burden? Am I building a life or just managing hers? And once you ask those questions honestly, once you face the answers without flinching, you reclaim the most important thing a man can possess, the right to protect his own energy. So remember this. Your masculine energy is not an infinite resource. It's not something you can pour out endlessly without replenishing. It's not something you owe to anyone, not even your wife, not even in the name of love. It's the fuel that drives your purpose, your health, your clarity, your strength, your ability to show up in the world as the man you're meant to be. And if your marriage is draining that fuel, if your wife has become the primary source of depletion rather than restoration, you have a choice to make. You can keep giving, keep shrinking, keep pretending that one day she'll finally be satisfied and the drain will stop. Or you can do the harder thing. You can reclaim your energy. You can rebuild your boundaries. You can return to the pursuits that make you feel alive. You can stop asking for permission to be yourself. You can become the kind of man who protects his energy like a wolf protects its territory, fiercely, unapologetically, without negotiation. Because once you truly understand that your energy is yours, that your life is yours, that your purpose is yours, everything changes. The relationship either transforms into something real, something mutual, something worth your energy, or it reveals itself as a trap you've been living in while calling it love. Either way, you win. Either way, you get your power back. Either way, you stop being drained and start being whole. And that wholeness, that centered, grounded, self-possessed masculine energy, that's what makes you powerful. Not powerful over her, powerful within yourself. The kind of power that doesn't need validation, doesn't need approval, doesn't need constant reassurance that you're enough. The kind of power that simply is. The kind of power that women can either respect or reject. but can never drain again. That's when you realize the final truth. The strongest version of you is the one who refuses to give his energy away. Even when the world calls it selfish, in reality, it's not selfish. It's survival. It's self-respect. It's the recognition that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot be a man of purpose when your purpose has been sacrificed on the altar of someone else's endless needs. And that clarity, that boundary, that unshakable commitment to protecting what makes you a man, that's what saves you. Your wife can drain your masculine energy, but only if you let her. And now you know better. Now you know the drain isn't inevitable. It's a choice you make every single day, so choose differently. Choose yourself. Choose your energy. Choose your power. And watch how the world rearranges itself around a man who finally decided he's worth protecting.